All right, we're here with Pär from Sabaton.
Yes.
And it's great to have you here in Pittsburgh.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not our first time here, but definitely I have good memories from the last time. Walking around in the day here earlier was really nice city.
And you brought a great day with you.
Yeah.
The weather's beautiful.
Looks great.
Beautiful. So I want to jump right into, you have a new record coming out in a few weeks called Heroes.
Yes.
And I just saw the artwork for it, which is phenomenal. But I mean, it gives me like an inkling of what the thematics might be, knowing some of your past work. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. Usually Sabaton sings about historical events. We do that on this album as well. A lot. We have been in World War II a lot because we find that specific era of time very interesting, and it's also very well documented. Mm-hmm. So we can like rely on facts instead of thoughts of ideas that might have been. So when we go to World War II, we know that okay, this is probably quite close to facts and reality. Mm-hmm. And we have sang a lot about battles and bigger events around that. But in 2009 we did this album Coat of Arms. We did one song where we zoomed in on one person, one individual, and it became much more personal, more interesting for us to read about. And we had one more saved, which we like, okay, we're gonna do one song about this in the future. This was 2009. And we had the story about Witold Pilecki, the story which is on the new album, Inmate 4859. We saved it all the way until now, basically knowing in here that in some years from now on we're gonna write an album about more personal topics. Mm-hmm. Likely we're gonna call it Heroes.
Okay.
And we kept that story as like a leading star of where we're going with the new album. And we also we're trying to find similar stories around it to connect. And basically what we decided to call a hero would be somebody or a few people who did, well, not really only what they were supposed to do, but they did something beyond the call of duty.
Okay.
And they put themselves in great harm's way for the good of others.
Cool. Now, lyrically, how do you guys approach that? I know you've been with the band since the very beginning. Yeah. Do you keep it amongst yourselves as a whole band, or is it just the originals, yourself and
me and Joachim? Well, me and Joachim wrote the lyrics on this one, but I mean it's not necessary that it's gonna be like that.
Right.
But for now, we have the biggest historical interest, and we have a certain way of writing. I mean, we have written all the songs together, me and Joachim, since basically the beginning, and we have a certain way of completing each other's and making it sound Sabaton. Yeah. And we didn't want this album to be stretching out too far because we had some new band members. Yeah. And we didn't want too much to change. We wanted people to feel like, oh, it's like before, but better.
Yeah. Yeah. Since we're talking about having some new band members and so forth, that's part of the business, unfortunately.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, I wish it wasn't.
Right.
But it's a general, I mean, it is nothing complicated and nothing more complicated than it's like 15 years as a band now. And we kept the original lineup for the first 13 of them.
Which is pretty amazing in and of itself.
Yes, and we spent a lot of effort trying to keep it that way. But eventually, it's gonna be different ways. I want to tour 250 days a year. Somebody else wants to tour 10.
Right.
We cannot find a way to coexist in that. I'm not doing it half-hearted.
Right.
So I'm all in. Joachim is all in, and with the new guys in the band, we're 100% all in.
And I think we're seeing that more and more with a lot of bands. And I think it's more accepted amongst fans.
It's tough. I mean, it is hard. And if you cannot find your own way of living with it, it is not for everybody.
No.
But a lot of people want to be doing the rock and roll thing when they're young, and that everybody wants. But then they see 13 years later what's really going on.
Right.
And then it's not that beautiful anymore, maybe, and it's not that amount of cash that people are expecting, and it's a lot more work.
Yeah.
But I love it, and I'm so proud of this band, what we have built over the last years.
You guys have a massive following in Europe. You are a huge headliner, and you even put on your own festival.
Yes.
In your hometown.
And we get our own cruise as well.
Which is pretty cool. How is it to kind of flip the table a little bit and come here to America? And it's not like you're bottom rung by any means, but you're not the headliner, and it's a little different.
It's very different, but I mean, that's Sabaton has been this in everywhere basically, and it is nothing different here from what we have done anywhere else. We have never had a big record label. We have never had a big management who pulled all these threads and make us big. We never had hits. We never had anything like that. We worked ourselves up,
Right.
slowly but steady. In the countries we go to first. Obviously, Germany was close to us, and it's the biggest heavy metal place in Europe, so we pushed it, and we've become a big band, and it spreads out, and some countries are really big for us, but it's all the same. It has never been a change, it's all like building it up, playing a lot of shows, and we're doing that in America now. There is no shortcuts. In Europe there is more festivals and easier to get on bigger tours with other bands for us. Here it's difficult, so but I don't mind it. I mean, I love to do it this way. I don't want to change it for okay, here you go, you now got a TV hit and you're done for. You can play, you can tour. I don't want to do that. I want to do it like this and build it up, because this makes us a connection to the fans that they see, like the people. It took us so long time before we came to the US. So people here think that we are still a fresh young band. They don't know that we've been going on for 15 years. They think we have been going on for 2 years, because that's basically the time we've been touring in America.
Right.
But if you see to us in Europe, Germans, they know us as we're pretty old school band now.
Yeah.
And we've been going on for that. And I think this is because we played all the small venues there, all the festivals and stuff like that over the years, supporting bands. Now we're trying to do the same over here. So it's gonna take some while, but it's about to push it further, and I don't want it to go too fast. I'm not interested. I mean, Sabaton's gonna exist for a long time.
Right, so it's the steady.
I have no hurry. I have no rush.
Right, that's awesome. A lot of festivals this summer.
Oh yeah, right after this tour starts the festival, and we got, for the summer, we got like 30 something shows. Not everybody is confirmed yet, so we're basically playing at least, normally a weekend would be 3 festivals in 3 different countries.
Wow.
That's
a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of traveling.
And you have a lot of great bands on the bill for your own festival, including Testament, which is, they're so great. And
the festival is now a thing. I mean, it started out, I wanted to do something cool for the release of Art of War, and since then we increased the festival, and now it's a 3-day open air festival. It's a lot of people from different countries. More than 25 countries are fans coming from, so the atmosphere is amazing, the area is great. It's one of the most renowned for the best atmosphere of entire Sweden for the festivals.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I never expected anything else.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What's your impression of the American crowds?
I think it's difficult to say like that, because it's different everywhere.
Sure.
I mean, it would be like saying what's the difference between Italy and Sweden in Europe,
right?
Because it's the same size and same different cultural things, and there's huge differences within America. So, and I haven't really figured out, exactly here is more crazy than there. We don't have that experience yet, but I think it's a very good crowd. I think so.
Yeah.
What we've seen these days is amazing. We weren't expecting this at all. Like, there's been mosh pits every day and like really enthusiastic crowd.
Cool.
So
good.
Definitely great.
I hope that we bring it for you as well. Now, kind of going back into the war thematics that you use, you know, you have bands like, you know, Amon Amarth who will stick with, you know, the Viking theme, and you guys have kind of stuck with World War I, World War II, and so forth. Do you think that you will continue with that, or have you ever kind of contemplated and spoken about, you know, maybe we should go into some other wars?
Well, we could. I mean, we did the last album was about Swedish history, obviously,
Right.
and going back 300 years in time. So, but it was still history,
Right.
and we find history more interesting than fiction.
Would you ever do contemporary wars? Now, would you ever maybe make
That-
maybe more of a political?
Then fiction, politics is not really something for us.
That's not for you. Okay.
So, I mean, we could switch different topics. We could, but
Right.
but it has to also be interesting for us. History is interesting for us, and those stories are usually more worth than the made-up ones.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be Sabaton, right?
No, I mean, it wouldn't be possible to do. It wouldn't feel anything interesting to do like Lord of the Rings or something
Right.
like that. It wouldn't be nice at all. It's nothing to connect with reality.
Right.
But I mean, we did 300 years past in Sweden with the Swedish Empire. We did that. And there's other things like that we could definitely do if we find something interesting.
One last question I want to ask you. You guys are really good at replicating what you do in the studio live. What do you attest that to? Your 250 dates on the road?
Yeah, I mean, we play a lot of shows and we rehearse a lot.
Yeah.
We are not a lot of bands. I know how they work. Like, they get together before the tour, rehearse for 2 days, and then head on. It's not the way Sabaton works. I mean, we're working every day for Sabaton, all days. So, and it's basically mandatory for everybody to be there. So we have a great headquarters where we have 3 different studios only for Sabaton.
Oh, wow.
And we have rehearsal spaces, offices, warehouses, workshops. We have all this only for us. So we built it just to make sure that everybody has a great space there, and everybody can be there. And that's why we rehearse a lot. People work on songs, and when we come home from a tour, people just don't go home and say, okay, see you next tour, and stuff like that. No, we get together and we stay together and we help each other out, and we improve, constantly improve the band.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
and you can definitely see that when we can all feel it when we go on stage, that we trust each other, we know what we are worth and stuff.
Cool. So we're going to hear some stuff from Heroes tonight?
We're going to hear something from Heroes.
Okay, cool. Look forward to it. So glad to have you in Pittsburgh. First time get to see you live,
Great
so
to be here.
I'm really I'm excited.
Great to be here, and we'll be back, for sure.
Good. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.